Howdy y'all, welcome to Shrimp Ghost Builds. Today, we will be starting our Red Dead Redemption recreation project with Valentine, specifically the Valentine stables. So, without further ado, let's get into the video. So I'd like to start this series off with a small disclaimer. I'm unable to recreate everything perfectly to scale, and I hope you can understand that and you don't yell at me in the comments or something, but I tried to recreate it as accurately as possible while making the builds my own, and I think I do a pretty good job with that. But anyways, that's up to you. So if you like it, why not subscribe or like the video? If you don't have to. But anyways, onto the build. To start it off, I built this facade at the front, and after this I built a wall around the back. The wall is slightly lower than the facade, simply to hide the roof from the front view, which is common in Old West builds. Basically all I'm doing now is just creating the windows and this main wall. Here I'm building the main portion of the roof, which is definitely one of the harder parts of the build, at least to build accurately. The roof itself is made of metal, but I did build it out of spruce slabs, so that is why it's like that in this clip. I also did skip the majority of the roof building, at least on the video, because it is a bit tedious, and I didn't want to make you guys sit through that, so you can just see the finished product here in a second. There's this small outcropping on the side of the building which holds the blacksmith, and also a small water tower in the back. But this part is one of the hardest parts of the build. It is the most detailed, in my opinion, and it's definitely a hard one to recreate in Minecraft because of all the small details, like tools and horseshoes on the ground. But I think I did a pretty good job with it, and I will always go back and try to improve it later on. But for now, this is what I did. Now I'm simply adding some small details to the front. The window I'm working on right now I did change later on, and I boarded it up. This sign at the beginning is, in my opinion, one of the most fun parts of the build to make. I just find it so satisfying to place down the letters on the front. And you can see here, this is what I'm talking about when I'm trying to weather the build. It's very difficult to keep these builds exciting and fresh because they're so boxy and just bland, but I think by adding the broken planks, we're using stairs, it definitely helps to soften the build and make it easier on the eyes. And now I'm building the water tower, which is another very challenging part as it's so small, but it's circular. And although it's not as nice as I would have liked it to be, I think it's fine, it does its job. see I'm struggling to place the barrels. I was trying to find if I could rotate the top to make the opening go somewhere different, but I cannot, sadly, which I think is something that they should change, because it would definitely help to add some detail. Right now I'm just adding the chimneys on the front and doing some of the landscaping out front. I skipped a lot of this for the rest of the build because it's also very tedious to watch, but you can see it's just a very simple combination of the path block and coarse dirt and podzol. I think it achieves the muddy effect very well. I will be adding more on the streets because they're a bit bland now, but again, my building skill has improved a lot since I first made this, and I think that I can make the town look very much better. Here I'm just fixing a little area on the back and making the chimney out of brick. These are all things that I noticed I had done wrong in the original build, so I went back and changed them, and the majority of the video is me changing all of these things, trying to make it as accurate as possible. For example, this window at the front that I boarded up, and just adding barrels and slabs all around, kind of act as crates. I also changed the front, kind of, I don't know what you'd call that, the front porch roof. I'd have to look that up later. But when I first built this, there were not, the nether blocks were not in the game, so I wasn't able to add this detail, and I think that I'm very happy that they have these now because it helps to give a metal look. And I'm just adding hay all around, and then this small lantern to try to light up the area. Now I'm just working on filling in the back area and just adding some bags and a cabinet. There's this chest also in the back, which was a bit difficult to recreate as it is a slanted roof, but I think the trapdoor on top looks fine. And here I'm just adding water troughs. I built a lot of these all around because, I mean, there are horses after all. And this part I did not build on the original build, so I'm just kind of trying to figure it out. I had to break it and rebuild it a few times just to try to get it perfect, but I think it turned out very nice. Now you can see I'm just building the main paddock area in the back, and this is one of the more difficult parts to get perfectly to scale because it's just large pieces of fence, and I think I did a pretty good job just using the actual build itself to base it off of, but it may not be perfect. But again, it's not that important because it's in the back. There's nothing really that it would be blocking or any of that. Now I'm just going around and adding water troughs and a pile of hay for the horses to eat. There's also these very strange barrels, which you will see in a second. I'm not sure what they're for, But if there's anyone watching that knows anything about horses, I'd be very interested to know. As the final detail, at least on video, I changed some of the fences to fence gates, but this is about where I stop the building portion, and you will see what it looks like right now. Overall, I'm pretty proud of this build, and I think it looks pretty accurate to the in-game version. If there's anything that you guys yourselves notice that I should change, just tell me and I'll do it. But besides that, thanks for watching, and remember, I will be doing more of these, so don't forget to like and subscribe.